I'm just gonna do a little play-by-play with this because I was just really happy with how this match went. I don't really know how many of these I would actually upload with like actual commentary because it's a lot of the same plays mostly, but I just wanted to run it down as this went along. This is a really good opening, and Emax sees, of course, because we're in Master Duel, so every player's running triple copies of this thing, because why wouldn't you? It just allows you to draw free cards when your opponent plays the game, which is great. But in this case, we already have the Oster searched out, which is really great, because I can grab a spare card to use off of the Allure. We grab into a Whirlwind and a Wing Requital, which is like probably one of the better draw twos off of Allure, to be honest, at this point especially. Alright. Then we get our third search off of the 2 copies of Whirlwind, and then we also get our Bora back. I kind of like was close to considering getting Gale out, but I'm glad I went with Bora overall, because later in the duel I ended up using Gale in a really nice way. But I got these cards on field. I don't know why I decided to activate the effect of Harmattan to make Armor Master. I could have just done Simoon right there, but it gets to the same card at the end of the day, so it doesn't really matter. Then the non-level 4s go into the Y-Strix play for the free level 4 summon, and also for a overlay into Force Strix. But unfortunately, he ashes my Wing Requital, which is not great, but it's honestly better than if he ashed the main combo, because at least with the main combo, you're better off with that because you can get to a better game state than the 2 cards in hand, which just would have been extra at that point. And who knows, honestly, I might have drawn into my Phantom Knight boots if I had done that, so that actually could have gone pretty bad for me. But it's really great, though, he didn't do that with the Zephyros summon, so he must have drawn that just off of that summon itself, which is nice. Bring back the Zephyros after detaching it so I don't take the 1000 damage from the Whirlwind, and get that card out so I can get that attached to my Time Thief Redoer. Then Rusty Bardiche. I always mix those 2 names because they're both B's. But Bardiche sends boots, then I get that. Then I overlay into Time Thief, and I got the rank up magic there. Since there's no material on that Force Strix, it's live basically any main phase that I want to activate it in. And I set the Fog Blade just in case I need it. So overall, pretty good board. Basically, like, if this were to stay on the field, if it wouldn't get destroyed, if I activate this to a zone it points to, it gets to pop a card in the field. This has a spin currently attached to it to the deck, so any card he has I could just send right back if it's face up, I believe. Yes, face up. That would turn into a 3000 non-destructible monster, aka this, Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon. And this is just unaffected by card effects in general, outside of a few exceptions like Tribute Summoning or other things of like that nature. Like if that got Kaiju, that'd be screwed, basically. But overall, not bad. He ends up Regeckying, but because of the 2 layers of protection I have currently, I'm going to be able to tag out Time Thief so he's not going to go to the grave, and I'm going to be able to get Arc Rebellion on the field. Unfortunately, the Shade Brigadine or Rusty Bardiche, there we go, is going to be a casualty of that Regecky, which is going to suck, but it's no big deal. I also should have summoned that in attack mode. I think I was just being like really careful because I didn't know what kind of deck he was really going up with, so I was worried he could like beat over that and do crazy damage. He also has enough cards in hand, thanks to Maxi, to run 5-headed Dragon, which I purely think he's running just to flex on people if he summons it. But it gets fogged. What I actually should have done was he should have went into the battle phase, and I should have done that to him. That would have actually been a much better play, but it doesn't really matter. It's because it's still the same board state. Alright. Then he summons that card out. Really can't do terribly much. It just hits over one of the cards I have, and then I use Fog Blade's effect to get back a Phantom Knight from the grave, which Raider's Wing is considered both that and a Raid Raptor. And this is a little scary, I'm not going to lie. He had 4 cards. I didn't quite know what I was kind of going in for, basically. He then spins his card back to his own extra deck to do this card's effect. He gets to add a Dragon Maid. He then had the couple Dynamiscuses here. These cards are really good because they target Banish, which isn't the best form of removal, but it's obviously really good. Time Thief luckily is evading this, and this card's unaffected completely, so he just discards 2 for nothing. That Poly probably he could use really efficiently otherwise as well. And whatever that other card he got. Yeah, this Yang Zeng card. So the Time Thief comes back for the 2nd time, and I also got a Solemn Judgment waiting on the side just in case he has something a little too strong for me at the moment. But I think at this point he's kind of ran out of steam because he's just like set passing. which, you know, it happens to the best of us. I grabbed one of his ashes, I think. Oh no, that was last turn, but still grabbed one of them, which is great. I don't fully understand how Dragon Mates work, so I really don't know why he's running this, but... Oh, let's see, okay, level 7 dragons. Man, I can see that now. Alright. And then I grab another card, and then he goes into this card, which just adds a Dragon Mate, it looks like, from the deck to the hand. I decide not to do anything towards it, which was probably the better play, because keeping my life points up at this point might have been better, just in case if I had a way to out it. He then bounces that back to get this card, which, sure, and then he sets that. And this is, I believe, where I get the nuts if I draw into my Auster this turn. Yes, I do. So, Time Thief grabs another card. I grab a copy of his Prosperity, so removing some of his draw spells from the deck pool. And it also allows me to draw a card if I happen to need it, but I didn't actually need to use it this duel. Then I get the Gale back from earlier, search out a Harmaton, and that Harmaton effect I was talking about earlier comes into play. What I was initially going to do is use Auster in a level 4 to go into the Savage Dragon, but I realized with the play I can do, I could get a rank 4 on top of that. So I did the rank 4, and then I'm using the Bardiche from the grave to trigger Borreload's effect. So now he has 3 Omni Negates on board. There is a, outside of the monster effect, of course, an Omni Negate essentially with Solemn Judgment. I could have probably won that round, I just didn't want to, like, set Armor Master in attack mode. I'm a little bit more hesitant about that after playing Master Duel for a little bit. And then finally, the real nail in the coffin here was that this card, not to say that everything else I had wasn't already crazy, because I want to run down what this board state basically is against a level 3 500 monster that I don't think he had much of a goal in mind to go into, basically. A summon / spell trap negate, and it can't be countered unless you have an account, unless that was a counter trap, basically, but he would have used it on this if he had a counter. Borreload Savage, which is an Omni Negate. This, which is a special summon, like Book of Moon effects. We can't do it to this, but if it was like a fusion, I could have Book of Mooned it if it came out. This can spin a card to the deck, so that means if he got a fusion, I could also send it back to the extra deck and either resummon it. He also could get a draw off it as well. And this is if this was alive on the field and he had a card worth stealing, I would just wait till next turn, steal it with Armor Master after banishing Auster for its counter effect that it has for wedge counters. But from here, he, you know, gets negated. It just happens sometimes, you know, it's whatever you're gonna do. And he scoops after this, so I'm just going to pause it here. But just to keep this in mind, he has 22 cards in his graveyard. He went through a little under half of his deck, even with Max C in play, and he still could not beat me. Which I always love when that happens, when people don't... It's a combination of, like, not reading their cards and just not playing smart. Like, he probably could have played way more conservatively and not have gotten this card out at all. But honestly, since this got hit, I was really thinking he might have just not have had any real cards at his disposal to get rid of what would have been my board initially, which would have been this, that, and the Arc Rebellion. And unfortunately, I can't see his cards in the replay, which kind of is annoying, because you would think that I could see that, because it's not the current match, but what are you going to do? And then he scoops. Basically, yeah, that was it. I'm going to check the audio on this. If it's actually, like, not dog shit like the first time I recorded this, I'll put this up, but otherwise it's just going to get deleted. Probably won't do this again. Maybe. I don't know. Might feel like it.